Newport Ducati Triumph and Aprilia. We're going to be taking this little guy out today. This is the Ducati SuperSport S for 2018. We're going to be testing it, reviewing it, riding it. Did I mention riding it? We're going to be riding it.
Are you going to ride it in sport mode?
We'll talk about rider modes and what that's like. We'll talk about these Brembo brakes. We'll talk about this Olin suspension. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. This is a great little bike, and we're going to bring the enthusiast perspective to it. Ducati designed and built the SuperSport for versatile sport performance, an everyday sport-inspired road bike of sorts that brings a level of comfort without losing sportability. At the heart of the machine is the Testastretta 937cc engine, a tried-and-true L-twin pushing 110 horsepower at 9,000 RPMs and 71.3 foot-pounds of torque. 80% of the power of this engine is available at 3,000 RPMs. Opting for the S model in the SuperSport line adds an Olin's fully adjustable suspension, an integrated seat cowl as standard, the Ducati quick shifting system derived from the race bikes. We spent a day with the SuperSport S and got to know the characteristics of the bike to get an overall impression and see if Ducati hit the mark with their versatile sports bike. The SuperSport S has 3 rider modes: Sport, Touring, and Urban. These affect the ride-by-wire throttle system, traction control, and ABS. We use the Touring mode for riding in traffic and Sport on the more scenic roads. Each is able to be manipulated manually, but the default settings worked well for us. Touring mode made the throttle response just a bit smoother when riding in traffic and splitting lanes. Urban mode was a bit more subtly intrusive and would probably be best suited for someone riding a machine like this for the first time or perhaps in rain conditions. On the road, I found the SuperSport S to be quite agile and compliant to input. The Olin suspension worked great and offered excellent stability and communication, as we've come to expect from bikes running their systems. But the SuperSport S complemented it well with its lightweight feel and an eagerness to be pushed into turns and twists. The Testastretta spun along nicely with more of a grunt than a hum, as you might expect from the twin. The stock exhaust note was also pleasant. Don't we all want a bit more volume? I think that's generally true, especially when riding a machine for just a day or two. As a day-in, day-out sport road bike, the stock exhaust would probably settle in just fine with me, and it'll look great too. She was a bit buzzy on the low end and didn't really want to smooth out and cruise under about 3,400 RPMs. This isn't a bike that likes to lug along on the bottom end. Keep the R's up a bit and you'll enjoy the ride. The transmission felt about as I expected, precise and pretty smooth. For some reason it was a little tough for me to find neutral at a stop. The Ducati quick shifting system that comes with the S model is really slick. It works well allowing upshifts without the use of the clutch or letting off the throttle. Downshifts are really good too, and the bike automatically gives a little throttle blip for rev matching. I feel it's really intended for times when you're hard on the throttle and building a lot of revs. I tried it out in a little bit of a more casual riding situation and didn't really feel as compliant. But the brakes were fantastic. They have a really great progressive feel. I would probably say that the initial bite is light for a sports bike, but perfect for a road bike with a sports pedigree. Seating position on the SuperSport was really nice. I felt like I sat into it instead of on top of it. The bars sit high for a sport bike and offer a more comfortable upright riding position. Although I feel like it was a pretty good reach to the bars, which lent itself perfectly to the sporting nature and the Ducati's naturally enthusiastic approach to the twisties. If I had to pick one gripe, it's got to be the amount of heat thrown onto the back of my legs at a stoplight. I guess some of that is the nature of a motorcycle with a fairing like this, and some of that is probably in the fact that I was in a pair of everyday jeans for my everyday real-world ride. If I had to pick 2 gripes, is that the mirrors were a little useless for me. Some of that is in the nature of sport bikes and wide shoulders, but really under about 3,500 RPMs you can't see much out of them anyways because it's just way too much vibration. All in all, it was a great ride, and I feel like it's a great value from Ducati. Starting just under $13,000 for the SuperSport, adding a couple thousand for the SuperSport S. What a great bike.